We're born as confident humans. As we grow, our environment and people affect us. But confidence isn't something we lose. It's infinite energy within us that we can access anytime, anywhere. In this video, we're gonna find out how and what's blocking it. Action and overthinking. My first point is simple and super important. Take action. You already know many ways you can practice English, but if you still haven't tried any of them and keep analyzing what might fit you best, you are losing your time. For example, you found someone you can talk to online. It's been 2 months and you still haven't scheduled a time. Then you forget about it and find another resource. Same thing. Instead of taking the first step and seeing what happens, you just put it off and think next week or maybe next month. And then you just finally lose interest. Guys, I completely understand that you might feel overwhelmed, busy, forgetful, but to be honest, the most common reason why many of us don't do something is because we overthink it.
And definitely one of the characteristics of the most successful people I have ever met and interviewed through the podcast or anything else is just that they have this bias towards action. They spend a lot less time overthinking doing the thing and a lot more time actually doing the thing. And one of the lessons that I've really learned over the last 6 years of growing this YouTube channel is that action is really the foundation and overthinking can be sprinkled on top of it.
Now guys, as long as you're watching this video, I want you to think about what action you want to take today. If you've been wanting to practice speaking more but don't know where to start yet, I highly recommend starting to build a system. A customized plan for yourself where you don't need to think about what to do every single day. We are what we think. Are we? Confidence comes from a Latin word fidere, which means to trust. Therefore, having self-confidence is having trust in one's self. Every unpleasant experience, nasty comment from a mean person, a failed test, your own inner critic shake your confidence. But remember, deep within you, there is something unshakable: your faith in yourself. At the beginning of my YouTube career in 2020, I was getting a lot of nasty comments from people saying that I would never make it on YouTube, that my videos were weird. You know, the way I was setting up my lights or the way I was setting up my camera, the way I was talking was weird. At the very beginning, I felt extremely sad because I was receiving all of those comments. But then what helped me shake off that feeling is adopting the growth mindset and learning more about Kaizen, which is a Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement. So I'm continuously improving my videos. I cannot be perfect from the very beginning. I can never be perfect because I will be always improving. Michael Singer highlights a very interesting concept in his book. What you're thinking is not you, because you're the one who is listening. This basically means that you can detach from your thoughts and start observing them. Like, these are your thoughts and this is you. You're just observing them, because this way you get more control over your mind. Have you ever heard of the fixed and growth mindsets before? The fixed mindset sees failures as disasters. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be that person before. Sometimes I feel like I want to get sad, but then I remember that I'm trying to work on my growth mindset. And the growth mindset sees all the failures as opportunities. When you first start learning a foreign language, it's like filling your basket with candy. Imagine you have a huge basket and you have to fill it all up with candy. And originally it's absolutely empty and it feels extremely overwhelming because you put one candy in there and it still looks pretty empty. You put 2 candies there, 3, 5, even 10. But you know, it's still pretty empty. In the beginning, it may feel overwhelming, but as you keep going, your knowledge base expands and you have something to work with, to experiment, to make mistakes and learn from them. Confidence can be trained. Confidence is a skill. So practice it. Create your own frequency dictionary of all the words you know you will need and will use the most. And to be honest, from person to person, this dictionary is going to be a little bit different. I'm obsessed with nutrition, and recently I purchased a course from eCornell about plant-based nutrition. So obviously, I'm gonna learn a lot of new vocabulary that is connected to nutrition, and I already know quite a lot. And for me, it's important because it's my life. And I don't even want to know if the word I'm gonna learn is advanced or, beginner level or intermediate level, because it's my life. And for me, it's relevant. Maybe you're interested in engineering, and a lot of people are gonna say, oh my God, why you're learning all of these words? They're so advanced. But if engineering is your life, then don't listen to anyone and learn all of these words. The most efficient way to find all of these words that you often use is to start journaling in your target language. This way, you'll be able to see what aspects of life you're most involved in and what words and phrases you need to talk about them. You may also find your high-frequency vocabulary in videos of people who have a similar lifestyle to yours. So I'm interested in nutrition. That's why I often watch vlogs of people who share what they eat in a day, maybe of like real nutritionists sharing their diets and giving tips. Again, if you're interested in engineering, maybe you can watch a vlog of an engineering student, let's say. If you're interested in medicine, start watching videos of medical students on YouTube. It will make you more confident when you start speaking because it will strengthen your core vocabulary. Your stories will flow uninterrupted by your mind. It's a great feeling. You enter this creative flow, so to speak. It's going to be more about the message and less about the language. You can also think of your childhood experiences to remind yourself that confidence can be learned. As a 5-year-old learning to ride a bike, first you use training wheels. Step by step, you're learning to use handlebars and brakes. Take turns and ride straight. Then you learn to balance without training wheels. You fall, you get up, you change something, and eventually you have enough experience to ride a bike without any problems. But don't forget that no matter how much experience you have, you might still fall from the bike and feel stuck when you speak a language that is not your native language. Allow yourself to be human. Forgive yourself and move on. Your charisma is your confidence. When you speak with someone, they want to get to know your personality. They want to have a good laugh. They want to have a good time. They want to share what made their day amazing. This is the core of communication. Notice that when people can laugh at themselves, be vulnerable and down to earth, we find them attractive. There are so many non-native comedians who build their careers on being themselves, being awkward, using incorrect English, and making mistakes. For example, this funny guy from Finland I came across on Instagram.
I know my English is far from being perfect. Like, I don't speak perfect English by far, but recently I realized that there are some people who speak way worse English than me. Like, way worse. I heard that there's an actual campaign, a huge campaign that's been going on now to teach people that no means no.
He makes jokes about cultural difficulties that a non-native speaker might have. He speaks with a strong accent, and he loves it. Charisma is leaning into your perceived flaws.
So charisma has absolutely nothing to do with what you look like, what you're wearing, how much money you have, how much success you have, none of that. Charisma has everything to do with how well you lean into your perceived flaws. The most charismatic people on the planet are the ones who are leaning into their perceived flaws.
On this channel, I often share my embarrassing language learning stories. I openly talk about my journey, challenge myself, and get out of my comfort zone. Maybe that's why you love watching my videos. But then when I think about it, just 3 years ago, I'd never spoken to a camera. I also had to find the courage and identify what you, my audience, wanted to hear from me. Think of charisma as your personal tattoo. And talking about tattoos, I have quite a few myself. You got that tattoo when you were born. When you fear something, like speaking a foreign language, it's as if someone is trying to erase it. It's painful. You don't want to continue. You want to stop and give up. This is what happens to all of us in every aspect of our lives. Fear paralyzes us. So what do? Don't ignore your fears. You need to be really honest with yourself and explore your limiting beliefs, your dark thoughts, and fears. In one of her books, Brené Brown says, "Numb the dark and you numb the light. To gain confidence, you need to see what's standing in the way and what might happen if you ignore it. If you're really serious about that, try Fear Setting Exercise by Tim Ferriss that made successful people continue to be successful. Yes, you heard that right. Success, as well as language learning, is an ongoing process that you need to keep up. The exercise is pretty simple, but it will take some time and ideally should be repeated. It's a type of self-assessment, which you guys know I really love to do. Take a piece of paper and draw 3 columns: define, prevent, and repair. Let's take an example. In define, you write the worst case scenario. As a non-native English speaker, I won't get through the interview to get that job. In prevent, you write specific actions that could reduce the possibility of that situation from happening. Practice interview responses in English to build fluency and confidence. Explore how the company can benefit from a cultural background. In repair, you write what you're gonna do in case the worst happens. Your steps to get back on track. Reach out to the next company or consider applying for a different job position. The average applicant applies to 27 companies before landing an interview. Finish the exercise with 2 more columns. The benefits of taking action. This company values diversity and different perspectives, so my cultural background might be an advantage. By overcoming this fear, I will prove to myself that I can do it. The cost of inaction. Missing out on potential highly paid job opportunities. Allowing fear to hinder personal growth and advancement.